Hello, welcome to day 1 through 4 of not having a computer diary, I guess. As you can tell, I'm currently I don't know what I've been doing all day, I'm gonna be honest. I know what I've been doing all day. I would love to describe to you what I've been doing all day. If you clicked on this video, you are a real one. I'm gonna make this video like unlisted so you can't see it unless you have a link, because I don't want this getting out into the wild. I mean, if it gets out into the wild, there's nothing I can do at that point. It's just public domain, I guess. I haven't got much left. So I'm making this video to document, well, first off, this is the 4th day of having no computer. I mean, I have a computer. I realized this before. I tried to do this twice now. I should have thought of the repercussions of picking a face cam phone, because I can't switch it. For whatever reason, the iPhone 11 doesn't let you switch the camera angle mid recording. You know what I'm talking about. iPhone 11 users shout me out. So anyway, I have a computer. I have a laptop. It's like a backup computer, but my actual computer, if you see it here, I'm trying to point to it. I look like that soy face meme. Everyone's like, "What is computer?" Maybe grow out the beard a bit more, have him be like super bald, like shave the. Anyways, this is what's happening with my computer. I don't know if you can see that. I should probably turn on the lights, get a better view of that. So this is what my computer is at right now. So Drakengard 3 showed up in the mail yesterday. I have no intention of playing that right now. I've obviously got my hands full. Down here, you can see this. I don't even know if the camera's facing the right way. I can't see it. But this is my laptop. That's what I'm using. Its battery life's very, very, very low. Anyways, you're probably wondering how I got here. That's the AC, by the way. It's hot. So 4 days ago, day like any other, started like any other. Go to turn on my PC, and it boots for a second and then immediately shuts off. So I, doing what any normal person would do, I hit the button again, and it did the same thing, booted up, shut off. So at this point I'm getting a little worried. So I did it 3 more times. Maybe not the best idea. Eventually it stopped turning on, which was a sign that something had gone wrong. Anyways, I figured it had something to do with the PSU, the power supply I bought. And I unplugged the power supply. It was a GameMax RGB power supply, 850 watts. Figured if, considering the hardware I have, I might as well. And I look like I'm about to cry. I think it's just, I'm not even like super tired. I just want to lie down all the time. Or like in the last few days, because it's The beer isn't helping either. I thought I'd just like have a beer or two because why not? I mean, there's not much I can do right now. So anyways, back to my story. I unplugged my power supply, my GameMax RGB 850 watt power supply. It comes with a little connector pin for the 24 pin thing you plug into the main motherboard. It's what powers it up. Excuse me. And I should maybe like not hold where the microphone's at. If you can't hear me the first video, sorry, my fault. I unplugged everything, plugged in the power supply, did the connector pin test thing. It turned on for a few times, then it stopped turning on. So I figured something's wrong with the power supply. I had a spare power supply, old power supply. My new power supply I got, it was kind of a mistake, kind of not. I thought because my old power supply was a Rosewill. Just call it the Rosewill power supply for now. And the Rosewill power supply had 2 PCIe ports for basically like peripheral, like discrete GPU, whatever. I was under the impression that my new GPU coming in, which is a 3080 Ti, by the way. If you want to know how I got that at like a half decent price, Roguecast, ROGUE cast, hooked me up. Definitely check out that Twitter handle, website, or whatever when you have a chance, because they'll hook you up. I bought a new PSU because I was like, I've heard from people before that the 3080 required 3 PCIe ports or whatever. So I was gonna get a fully modular PSU. Then I got the actual GPU. It's like right down here. I don't know if you can see it. I don't even know if I'm like, it's right there. It only needs 2. So I spent like $100 on a new PSU for nothing. So I plugged in my old Rosewill PSU, and that still works just fine. But now my computer wasn't turning on. Like, it was booting. It was turning on, but like it wasn't, like you weren't receiving any signal. So like something's wrong. So I took out my 3080 Ti. I just tried booting with just the CPU, the motherboard, and like the RAM and the solid state, obviously. And still wasn't getting anything. It was getting a lot of errors for DRAM and boot and VGA, which could be a bunch of things. Long story short, I figured it was the motherboard that was at fault. I figured my PSU had fried my motherboard, and I was getting a ton of errors that weren't really, the RAM was seated properly. I reseated it like 5 times. Could be the RAM. I went to see my friend Nico the day of. I'm like, hey, I need you to see if I need to plug in my solid state into your PC, because I just need to see like if all my files are alright, if my solid state got like fucked by my power supply shorting out. Silver lining, solid state's okay. All the files are still there, all the data's still there as far as I know. I checked it briefly, I opened a few files to make sure they were still intact, and as far as I can tell, it's fine. Nico also gave me some spare RAM he had lying around, and I double checked, tested it with my old motherboard. Wasn't really doing much, so I figured it's either the motherboard or the CPU. I ordered a motherboard, a new one, a Gigabyte motherboard, very cheap. What is a Gigabyte? So I figured, hey, it doesn't work, I get my money back, it doesn't matter. Come to find out, it might have, the PSU might have also fried my CPU, because it was showing all the symptoms of a dead CPU. So I've basically narrowed it down to just my CPU being at fault. The power supply really took a number, and I guess it specifically went like dead set on my CPU. So now my CPU is dead, and that's a real shame, because that is like the hardest thing. Like if it was the GPU, like okay, you can always send it back and get a new one, get a repair. If it's the RAM, it's whatever. Like I can get new RAM. It's not a big deal. It's super easy to put in too. Like no big deal. Power supply dying, that's really annoying, but I had a spare one. Motherboard dying, oh yeah, that's really it's harsh. It's bad. You gotta literally take everything out, get it back in. Solid state dying would have been awful, because then I would have to pay someone to like just an inordinate amount of money to like recover that data, which I'm glad is not the case. However, the CPU, I feel like the list of things, like top things I don't want to have die on my PC, I think in order it goes solid state, because I don't want to have to pay to get all that, to recover all that data. Then motherboard, because you gotta unplug everything, and then third is the CPU. And I cleared like the first one. Like I'm glad the solid state's not dead. I'm glad I still have my data. The CPU dying sucks, because the process of getting an RMA for a CPU, an Intel CPU, at a 10th gen 10900F i9, it's a whole thing. And I tried calling them yesterday, and they're like, well, we're only Monday through Friday, so I'm gonna call them again tomorrow. It's Sunday, by the way. Monday tomorrow. I'm gonna call them tomorrow and see if I can if they can find my product for me. I might have to get them into contact with like Newegg or something. That's what I bought it from. But I'm like worried, man, because there is the way of like finding. I don't have the box anymore. If I had the box, this would be so much simpler, but I don't have the box. So I'm like almost out of options here. Like there is a way on their website. They're telling me that I can like find the data or whatever I need to request an RMA or a repair or replacement, because it's under warranty for like a year or two. But it's like a process. I'm not gonna get into it unless that's what it comes down to. Hopefully it doesn't come down to that, because if it comes down to that, Lord knows I'll be talking about it. Like, we'll be harping on about it, man. So in the meantime, it took me a while. I had to track down a affordably priced CPU on eBay that is compatible with the Gigabyte motherboard I installed, and it's arriving sometime within this week. And I hope that it's like a good CPU. I hope that it works. I'm gonna have to install the cooler for it again, which is gonna suck. But I mean, what can you do? I'll have to install everything to make sure it all works. It could have, the PSU could have fried my GPU as well. Like the RGB lighting works, I know that on the GPU, but it could have still messed it up, and that would also suck, because it would suck because I'd have to send it back to get it like a repair under warranty. But it's just like a whole thing, Like, I can go without a GPU, I don't mind. It's just the CPU's like, I need that. Like, I need that for this to work, so it's a whole thing. So, anyways, sometime this week I'm going to be getting a new CPU. Temporary, I'll probably return it once my i9 is repaired. Then, I guess we'll see what happens. I mean, it's uncharted territory for me anyway. My fucking stomach hurts. So that's where I'm at. It just kind of sucks. I've just been kind of like sitting here all day, like playing games and stuff. It gives me a chance to like catch up on stuff, but maybe, okay, I'm not that stir crazy. That was just kind of like the gist of what's been going on. But I don't know, man. Like, I hope that this can be resolved within a matter of weeks, because I would hate to be without a computer for like over a month or something. Like, I will have my computer up and running probably within the next week, hopefully. But like, as far as getting it back to where it was, that's a whole nother story. So, this is day 4. This is Jared signing off. I'll keep you in the loop. And thanks for watching.